We actually had a bunch of DJs that were interested. Zed, Diplo, and Aoki. As soon as we show up and he sees Billy, the first thing Aoki says to us, he's like, "That is not a dog. That is a wild animal." The famous Aoki Playhouse. So his house is like a collectibles dream.
What was the temperature?
For beginning cold plunges, they recommend like 50 to 60 Fahrenheit. This was 38. I don't know, my body, like I just can't breathe. I'm like, I think I'm dying. But I look to my left and there's Aoki and he's just like, "It's okay, relax." And he's like looking zen as fuck. And I'm just like, "Fuck you, Steve Aoki." I met Tiger Woods. I don't remember what happened or what I said. He actually ended up making 100K. I was like, "You're welcome.
Best wife
Happy
ever.
birthday."
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't realize at this point that like it all comes back to who you know and like all like one person leads the next to the next. And that's why you need to always just be putting yourself out there. Be fucking serious. So yeah, thanks Twitch.
What's up, everyone? This is the Nutcase Podcast.
I'm a nutcase, I'm a rogue, I'm a misfit, I'm the glitch in the code. Maybe I'm gonna explode.
I'm Charlotte. I'm going to be your host as we interview Joe, the founder of Nutcase, which is the first ever hydration milk. One of the best things about being friends with Joe is I get to hear firsthand some of the most crazy, insane stories, from how she met and married one of the co-founders of Shopify to bringing on legendary gamer Ninja as her co-founder. Our hangouts were never short of me saying, "Holy shit," and "what the fuck, how did that happen?" I somehow convinced her to share it with all of you guys. We're gonna go deep and personal, think of a blend between Alex Cooper and Diary of a CEO, all while sharing building out Nutcase from day one.
I'm a freak, like it or not, that's who I am.
Okay, so quick recap. Ninja is your co-founder.
Yep.
And you guys are about to launch the chocolate Nutcase. Firstly, where are you guys starting with that? Like, where are you guys launching it from?
Right. So first we're going to launch on Shopify, of course. How could I not? So we had just built out our whole Shopify site. It was looking dope, ready to go.
And what's the plan for the big launch?
So we thought, so since, you know, the whole connection to Ninja came from Helmuth and that came from us. And we all had this association with poker. And Ninja being a streamer, we just thought like, oh, it'd be really cool to do a streamed poker game with the crew. And of course, also our affiliation with PokerGo and, you know, Dream Ventures and Rich and Jonas. So we're like, oh, this is like the perfect mash. So we're like, let's do a
Perfect setting.
Yeah.
And who did you invite?
So first we thought of the poker players. So we invited Daniel Negreanu, who's another massive name in poker. He had actually he tried the product, he loved it. He'd given us like a sick shout out on another PokerGo final table.
Only a few ingredients, 5 grams of protein, plant-based, naturally sweetened, great for recovery and brain health. That's Nutcase. You can find at nutcase.com.
But unfortunately, he wasn't available. We wanted another streamer, so Ninja thought of Nate Hill, who was with FaZe Clan at the time. And who also plays poker. So Nate was in. So we're like, okay, we got one more. That's cool. Daniel, my husband Daniel, really wanted to play, of course. So I was like, all right, you know, I'll let you in. But of course, he's also an investor, so there's still like that tie into the brand. And then finally, we actually had a bunch of DJs that were interested. So we were talking to Zed, Diplo, and Aoki. And I was really pumped because like all of them were interested, and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be like the sickest game ever. But then just lining up schedules from all these like really busy people was a nightmare. And like in the end, just like we could never make the schedules work.
I remember you telling me about Diplo.
Oh, yes.
And did it work out? Did you end up getting his schedule lined up?
No, so this was the funniest story because what made me think of inviting him was literally I was following him and he posted a story. He was at the Wynn in one of the suites, and you know I like to have all those like goodies in the room. He was just raving about the Wynn's chocolate covered almonds or something, and like light bulb in my head goes off. I'm like, he likes chocolate and he likes nuts. He should try Nutcase. And then I noticed that he follows Ninja. Okay. So I text Ty. I'm like, yo Ty, let's invite Diplo. He follows you. Like DM him. So Ty DM'd him and he replied and he was like, yeah, I'd love to play. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Total side note. I did not know until Jack, who's my son who's obsessed with dinosaurs, told me that Diplodocus is a dinosaur, like as a thing.
Okay.
That's when like all of a sudden I was like, wait. And then I saw like a post like Diplo has like a tattoo of a dinosaur or something. And I was like, is this DJ name based after a dinosaur? And it actually is. And I was just, so anyway, by the way, fun fact for y'all.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that
Diplos.
either. It comes from Jack.
I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
this is amazing. I was like, I actually like this DJ name even better now. Mm-hmm. Anyway, total tangent.
So that didn't line up for him to come, or?
Yes. Well, he was interested though. So when we were trying to like figure out the schedule and stuff, all of a sudden one day he DMs back and he's like, oh, by the way, I don't really know how to play. And we're like, wait, what? And we're like, no sweat. Like, we'll give you a crash course. It's going to be a super friendly game. It's all good. So he sounded serious, but yeah, ultimately, like the dates just didn't work.
Okay, so nothing's lining up with these guys. You're frustrated. What happens? Like, where are you guys at?
Yeah, at this point, I'm super bummed because like it sounded like we were going to have this really dope lineup, but it just wasn't coming together. But then literally the day before the game in Vegas, we end up going to Aoki's house.
Back up. How did you meet Aoki? Let's go first there.
So this all goes back to a couple of startups ago when I met Helmuth. And we kept in touch from that. And then he had actually during that time, he invited me to a invite-only charity poker thing called Tiger Jam that Tiger Woods puts on.
Okay.
And so I go to Tiger Jam, Phil's there, he's introducing me to a bunch of people. It was actually the craziest thing. I met Tiger Woods, I don't remember what happened or what I said. And I also remember, like, there's a bunch of fancy people, and then the Backstreet Boys were there. And it's so funny because obviously as a teenager, I would have, like, lost my mind.
Yeah.
But at that point in life, I just, like, couldn't give a shit.
Okay.
But it's kind of funny. I was like, the Backstreet Boys are here. Anyway, he had introduced me. This is just a funny Phil story. He introduced me to his friends that he'd invited. And he's like, Joelle, these are some like billionaire Chicago hedge fund guys. And he's like, hey guys, meet Joe. And then he just says like something around like, oh, by the way, guys, like don't even think about it. She already has a really rich boyfriend or husband. I don't remember.
Oh my God, Phil. Okay.
And I was like, oh, and they're like, yeah, okay. And we're all like, okay.
Super awkward.
It was like so weird. But then like, that's kind of what we love about Phil, because it was like such a bizarre thing to say, but it actually just made everything super clear and comfortable for the rest of the night. And I remember I told Daniel, and he was just like he just like loves that. That's Philly. Like he's got his back even when he couldn't be there.
I mean, it's nice to have that as well, because they're like, that's a recent friendship too, him and Phil. So to have that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. And so where I was getting at, so that night, I remember Phil and I were talking about Daniel, and his birthday was coming up. Mm-hmm. And I remember asking, so like I didn't know what to get Daniel for his birthday. Like, what do you get the guy who has everything and can buy anything he wants? But we would always watch Poker After Dark together, which is obviously Phil plays on that all the time. And he would always say like, oh, it'd be so amazing one day to like play on pad. And, you know, it was just like a comment. So like, cool. So all of a sudden I had this idea. So I was like, hey, Phil, like Daniel's birthday is coming up. I don't know what to get him. Is there any chance you think you can get him on an episode of Pad?
And what does he say?
And Phil's like, yeah, sure.
Instantly.
And I'm just like, oh, like seriously? And he's like, yeah, like I'll text you. And in the moment I was kind of like, I don't even think I believed it. I was like, is he actually going to follow through? Is this actually going to happen? So I didn't really get my hopes up.
And does he follow through?
He does.
Okay, sick.
So he texts me. He's like, we're good. He's in. Like, here's some date options and whatnot.
So how do you tell Daniel this? This is huge.
It was so crazy. So this is the night of his birthday. We hadn't really done anything too special. We were just at home. And Daniel's one of those guys who, like, he says he doesn't care about gifts, but we know he really does. And it was like later that night, we were actually watching Poker After Dark. And just like trying to be nonchalant, I was just like, hey, you know how like you always said you wanted to play on this? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, you will. And he's like confused and kind of in disbelief. He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I asked Phil. at Tiger Jam, and like he
must have lost his
He
mind.
was like, he was just like, how did you do this? This is crazy.
And was he nervous?
Definitely. In the moment, he was just excited, but then when we really started to think about it, like it was his first time playing on camera, and it was way higher stakes than any of us, or like either of us had ever played.
And so how does it go? How does that game go when the day comes?
So here's the craziest thing. It just went, like, could not have gone better. He actually ended up making 100K, or winning, through the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're welcome.
Best wife
Happy
ever.
birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that wasn't even the best thing that came out of the game. This is where we tie the next piece of the story. So also playing at that table was a guy named Randall Emmett, which is a name some of you might have heard. He's kind of notorious in that world. He was on Vanderpump Rules. He dated Lala Kent. He's a character. Anyway, Daniel won so many hands off of him, but he was a good sport about it. And after the game, I guess he asked for Daniel's number, so they exchanged numbers. And Randall would keep in touch and text us every once in a while. And then just randomly one day, we got a text from him, and he was saying that he was doing a business deal with Steve Aoki, and like maybe we would be interested. And he was in Vegas. We happened to be in Vegas. So he's like, I'm going to Steve's house. Like, why don't you guys want to come and like hear about this deal? And it was a group text. And it's funny because Daniel, I remember, I was like, oh, like that sounds cool. Are you going to answer? And he's like, it's not going to happen. Daniel's just like what? And I'm just kind of like, what do we got to lose?
Yeah.
So I'm like, sure, Randall, bring us to Aoki's house.
And what's Daniel's reaction to all that?
Well, Daniel still doesn't think it's going to happen.
Okay.
And then he like sends us a time and an address.
Okay, so it's really happening.
And we're like, I guess this is happening. So we're like, well, let's go. Oh, but actually, another piece. We're like, okay, it was like the next day or something. And we're like, oh shit, like we're in Vegas, but we have Billy with us, our dog.
Okay.
So, and we don't have a dog sitter. So we're like, okay, we'll come, but like only if our dog can come. And he's like, okay, I'll ask. So Aoki gives us the approval to bring our dog. And this is the best part, because as soon as we show up and he sees Billy,
What was his reaction?
the first thing Aoki says to us, he's like, that is not a dog. That is a wild animal. And we're like, oh, it's Billy. But he loved her.
So then you guys you get there, you get to the house.
Yeah.
You
So
got Billy.
the famous Aoki Playhouse. So his house is like a collectibles dream. It is a playhouse.
Yeah.
So he gives us the full tour. They have like a foam pit with a platform that you can jump into, a trampoline, like a room just for Pokemon cards. Like it's nuts. And we're just kind of like, what is happening right now? Like, where are we? How is this real?
And what are you doing? Are you hanging on the plate? Like,
Right. So they have a little business talk, and then all of a sudden, of course, I should have known. And Steve's like, who wants to do a cold plunge?
oh my God, you hate the cold.
Yeah. And I'm like, no thanks. Like, I'm good. And he's like, no, like,
Did you even have your bathing suit?
no, of course not. Like, we didn't come and so that was my first excuse. I'm like, oh, I don't have a bathing suit. He's like, oh, don't worry. Like, I've got extra clothes. So like, he runs into his closet and just like dumps all these like shirts and shorts. And he's like, gear up. And I'm like, I'm terrified. I hate the cold. And I've always said like, I would never do a cold plunge. But like when Steve Aoki's there and he's just like pep talking you into it. He's like, you'll be fine. It'll be so chill. Like, I'll talk you through it. And I was just like, I mean, I'm not usually prone to like peer pressure doesn't bother me, but something about fucking Steve Aoki.
In that moment.
Yeah. And I was like, I can't fucking pussy out now. So, and everybody else was doing it. Daniel was in. I was like,
what was the temperature for the...
So here's what's even more stupid. So he has this 20-person cold plunge. It's like a pool that he converted into a cold pool. And I read up on this because I was like, this can't be right. So like for beginning cold plunges, they recommend like 50 to 60 Fahrenheit. This was 38.
Okay, so very advanced.
Yeah, like that. They're like, that's like the most advanced they suggest, like 37 or something. And he was like, you got to do 5 minutes. I was just like, I'm going to die. I might die.
And what's Daniel, like, how is Daniel reacting to all this?
Daniel's being more stoic than me.
Okay.
I'm trying to
But he's a little bit nervous.
He is, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. We're all freaking out inside.
Okay, so you get in. Do you go all the way in right away? Like, how do you even get in there? Tell us that.
Yeah, so everybody's standing on the edge of this pool.
Okay.
And Steve's like, the trick is, like, you have to go in one go. Like,
Yeah.
if you dip a toe in, like, you're fucked. You have to, like... So it's like, okay, and he counts everybody down and, okay, go. I get in. I'm up to, like, he's like, you have to go up to your neck. So, like, you're sitting in there. And he's like, sit on your hands. And, like, I don't know, my body, like, I just can't breathe. I'm like, I think I'm dying. But I look to my left, and there's Aoki, and he's just like, it's okay, relax. And he's, like, looking zen as fuck. And I'm just like, fuck you, Steve Aoki. And then I look to my right, and Daniel's there, and he's, like, he's suffering,
Yeah.
but he's still in there. And, you know, Daniel and I are competitive as fuck. So I was like, shit, like, I have to at least last longer than him.
Did you do the full 5 minutes?
I did. So here's the crazy thing is I thought, obviously, because it was so painful, like usually time is super slow. I must have blacked out because it felt like it went really fast. But I remember at one point, so when I jumped in, my body instinctively went into like fetal position. And Steve was like, you need to like stretch your legs out, like straighten your legs. And I was like, Steve, my brain is telling my legs to stretch. They are not responding. Like, they do not want to.
Yeah.
Finally, I did. But I swear, like, my toes felt like if you touch them, they would just shatter. Like, they would break off. It was so painful. And the worst part is, fucking Randall, who's, like, the chubbiest of all the people there, he gets out at one point. And your brain immediately is like, well, the fat guy got out. Like, he's got the most insulation. Fuck it. Like, and you start to make excuses to yourself. So, like, actually... I really wanted to get out them, but then again, I looked at Daniel and I was like, that fucker's still in here. I need to like bear it. So yeah. And then
So
like
5 minutes is up, and then what do you guys do after? Do you guys get in the sauna? Or?
Right. So he has a sauna right beside it. So it was
Okay.
like, and he preheated it and I was like, oh, thank God, just like after, just make it. And then you get to go in the sauna. So we jump out and like, we're heading towards the sauna. And he's like, no, like not yet. You can't go from like one extreme to the next. He's like, he's like, dance to like get the circulation back going. And like, it's January in Vegas, so it's not that hot.
Yeah.
But he's like, no. And I remember at this point, I'm like, is he fucking with us? Like, he's just like making us dance like monkeys.
So,
Just because he, like, are we getting punked?
can you show us some of the dance moves you guys were doing?
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. Okay,
was-
so you guys then, you
Finally,
dance, you
he's
shake
like,
it off,
yeah,
and
he's-
then you guys get the approval
Finally,
to go in
he's
the
like,
sauna.
we can go in the sauna.
Okay.
And of course, like, again, because it's Aoki, it's like extreme. Like, the sauna is like fucking hot. But I love the heat, so I'm happy. And we're in there for a bit. Everybody starts to bail until it's just like Steve and I in the sauna left. And that was another moment of like, what am I doing here? I'm just chilling in the sauna with Steve Aoki. Like, what is this life? What is happening right now?
And because that was your first time doing the cold plunge, did you get what they like to call as the high that everybody usually gets, but especially like a beginner too?
100%.
Okay.
I think for me, the biggest part was just like how much of a confidence, like how good you feel about yourself that like you faced something that you were so scared to do. And I was just like, fuck yeah, I did that.
Yeah. And okay, so you guys get out of the sauna, and then after that, did you guys anticipate keeping in touch with Steve?
So yeah, I didn't know where it was going to go, but here's what happened. So while Steve and I were in the sauna, he was telling me about how like the benefits for your brain, how good saunas are. And so Steve's big like cause, the thing he really believes in is, or like that's important to him, is brain health. And during that time, Daniel's dad was battling dementia. So this was also obviously like a topic that was really important to us. So I was telling him about Daniel's dad. So when we got out of the sauna, Steve went to Daniel. He was like, oh, like I heard about your dad. And he had told me this in the sauna as well. He's like, so I have this talk at like, there's this big like brain health institute or something in Vegas. He's like, I'm giving a talk there tomorrow. Why don't you guys come? So with that invite, he's like, let's exchange numbers. I'll put my assistant on it, and he'll send the details. So we're like, okay. So we left there with his number, and sure enough, they sent us the info. So we're like, okay, I guess we'll go. And the way he presented it, I think Dan and I both assumed it was something like a fireside chat at like a convention or something that because he said like, I'm talking to this doctor, this like super well-respected brain doctor. And I was like, okay, like cool, sure. Like, why not? Let's go. So we show up at this place and like, it doesn't look like there's an event. We're like, not sure where to go. So we text and he's like, oh, I'll send someone to get you. So someone comes to get us and brings us into like what clearly is starting to look like just a doctor's office. And we're so confused. But finally Steve sees us. So he comes, he's like, hey guys, oh, awesome, you're here. Let's go.
So you guys were invited to almost like a doctor's appointment with Steve.
And then he opens the door to like a doctor's office.
Okay.
And there's a couple of extra chairs and he's like, have a seat. and we had Billy with us again. So we're like with the dog at the doctor's office. And he's like, the doctor's like pulls up his brain scans. He's like, hey guys, look at my brain. And we're like, are we at Steve's doctor's appointment? Like, what is happening right now? So yeah, he had just invited us to his brain doctor's appointment.
That's hilarious.
And we're like, cool.
Okay, so you guys leave the doctor's appointment, obviously keep in touch. You have each other's numbers at this point, and then...
Yeah, so the really fun kind of correlation there is that, I just had my first samples ready for Nutcase, and nuts are really good for your brain. So I was telling him, like, oh, do you want to try some Nutcase? He was like, yeah, that's awesome. So I sent him some of the first samples as well.
Of the chocolate?
Yeah.
And did he like it?
No.
Okay. Okay, so...
This is what's crazy is, like, I remember being so bummed in the moment. Like, I was like, ooh, that was like a gut punch. But then I appreciated his honesty, and I was just like, okay, it's not for everyone. That's cool.
Do you invite him still to the poker game?
I mean, it's Steve Aoki. So we're like, yeah, let's still invite him. Now, and of course, so he tells us he can't go because he's going to Asia. But the day before the game, he's still in town. And the funny thing was he had actually just been a guest on Ninja's podcast. And in the podcast, they were talking about how, like, Steve had said something like, oh, well, Tyler, when you're in Vegas, you got to come hang. You got to check out the Playhouse. And so I'd heard that, and I was like, oh, let's actually do this. So we had texted Steve and his team, and we're like, look, Ninja's going to be in town. We should hang. And they're like, yes, awesome. Bring him over.
So you guys all head over to Steve's house?
Yeah, so we all head over to Steve's house.
Tyler and his wife is there too?
Tyler's wife,
Okay.
Andre's with us, his manager. So we all...
Andre is Tyler's manager.
Tyler's manager, yeah. So we show up. At the time, he's still like wrapping up a meeting, so we're just chilling in his living room. And then finally he comes out, he sees Daniel and I, he's like, big hugs. And then he walks up to Tyler, and he doesn't recognize him at first, and he's like a foot from him. And then he's like, Ninja?
Did you not tell him he was coming?
Well, we did, but he forgot or missed that memo. So Tyler immediately turns to us. He's like, what the fuck? Like, you guys didn't even tell him? And we're like, no, we did. But it ended up, like, we're just like, I don't know what happened there, but it was actually so much funnier because we're just like, yeah, no, like, we just bring whoever we want to Aoki's house anytime. Yeah. But then Steve was like, oh my God, I'm so stoked you're here. So we got the whole tour again. And then of course we get to the end of the tour and Steve's like, let's cold plunge.
No.
And I had warned Tyler that this might happen.
Yeah.
We brought our bathing suits this time.
Did you warn Tyler's wife too?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And they were like, yeah, no, we're not. But of course they also got under Aoki's spell. So here we go.
You guys all did it together.
Do it again. I think that's like his like rite of passage.
That you guys passed.
And I honestly, I don't know what was worse, the first time or the second time, because the first time I'm afraid because I thought I might actually die. The second time I'm like, well, at least I know I'm not going to die, but just how fucking painful it's going to be. But yeah, it was brutal again.
So you guys did the whole cold plunge, the dance, and then the sauna?
Yep.
And everybody stayed in the full 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Of the group? Okay.
It was insane.
And then this is around the time that you first met Sasha, right?
Yeah, so this was super cool. So after we get out of the plunge, it's actually really cool because Steve was like, he was noticeably getting giddy. And we're like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, he told us he had a new girlfriend and she was arriving soon from LA. So like, okay, cool. So that's when Sasha arrives and we meet her for the first time. And like immediately I'm like, yeah, she's awesome. She's a badass. We immediately clicked.
I can confirm. I've met her and she's so dope.
Yeah.
So what's happening next with you guys then?
Right. So we had actually just got the first samples of our strawberry flavor.
Okay.
So I brought some over and I just kind of left that at his house. And then right before leaving, like everybody was just hitting off. We were having so much fun. Him and Ty were just like bouncing off each other. And all of a sudden I kind of just said like, oh, it's such a shame. Like, it's too bad you can't come to the poker game tomorrow. And all of a sudden he goes, oh wait, the poker game. And he's like, the trip to Asia got canceled. He's like, maybe I can come.
Okay, so you guys get confirmation then next that he's coming to the game.
Well, so he's like, let me check. I'll text you later.
Okay.
So we leave and we're like, oh my God, if he comes, like that's gonna like, it's gonna be so great. Like that'll save the lineup and like make it so much more entertaining. But literally like that whole night, I was just like checking my messages. And then finally got the text. He's like, I'm in. He's like, I'll be a little late, but I'm in. I'm like, fuck yeah. So we like remade the whole posters for the game. And
So the lineup then is obviously locked in.
yeah,
And you guys are all set to launch Chocolate Nutcase.
damn right.
So let's wrap it up there. Let's jump into our 6 rapid fire questions. Let's start with fail, Joe.
Okay, so for the stream, so this poker stream was going to be streamed on Twitch. Of course, Ninja being like one of the top streamers on the platform, has a good relationship with them. We had actually sent the CEO, Dan Clancy, some samples. He tweeted about it. He loved it. And they had promised to actually, help promote the stream by putting it like on the front page of Twitch. And we're like, wow, like that's going to be massive. That's going to get us so much more views and awareness. So that was like a big piece of our launch plan. The day before, again, they email Andre and they're like, Twitch just changed their guidelines on poker and like now put it in the gambling category, so they can't promote it. And we're like, are you fucking serious? So yeah, thanks Twitch. Fuck you.
Jeez. Okay, that's a big fail. Let's jump into flex.
With Aoki, we immediately hit it. And you know those people you just immediately connect with and you feel like you have a bond. But we kind of were still like, oh, I'm not sure like how close we are or whatever. And then last year we get a text and he's like, hey guys, like there's an invitation. It was like a formal, like save the date type thing, like invitation to Thanksgiving. And we're like, oh my God, that's so nice of him to invite us. And we both just assumed like this must be like a Friendsgiving. Like there'll be a bunch of interesting people there. Like, let's go. So we show up and it's like his entire family and her family. And we're just like, oh no, this is like their family Thanksgiving. And everybody there is either like related or works for him and us. And we were like, I don't know how we're here, but like we were so flattered and it was so cool.
Yeah.
We're like, how are we at Aoki's Thanksgiving? But
Good memory, though.
it was amazing. Yeah.
Let's jump into a rave.
Got to give it to Helmuth. As we keep touching on, like somehow all these points just keep leading back to Helmuth. And, he doesn't get enough credit for that. He's really good at just, one, he's always got your back. And 2, he's made some like super clutch intros for us.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, let's jump into rant.
Oh, by the way, when people tell me, when I'm like, I hate the cold, and they're like, oh, but you're Canadian. Like, wait, dude, like, just because I live in a cold climate doesn't mean I like the cold. And actually, this was actually really cool. So I remember when I got out of the cold plunge the first time with Steve, and I told him I thought he was going to die. And he was like, no, yeah, like, of course you're going to be fine. But then I told him about how I have something called Raynaud's syndrome. And essentially just means like I have really bad blood circulation to my extremities. So my hands and my feet freeze. So he's like, you have Raynaud's? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, then you're like, maybe you shouldn't have done that. I was like, yeah, thanks, Steve. But I feel like I gained like that much more respect from him because he was like, fuck, you still did it. And I was
you
like,
still toughed it out.
Yeah.
Okay, tool.
Shopify, of course.
Yeah.
So we launched e-com there. By the way, Toby, you guys, you should sponsor the pod. Use Shopify.
Tip.
So, I mean, if you don't realize at this point that like it all comes back to who you know, and like all like one person leads the next to the next, and that's why you need to always just be putting yourself out there and talking to people, asking for intros, making connections, because at the end of the day, like it's everything.
For sure. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning in to episode, 4 now? Obviously, we're still new, like I always tell you guys, so please don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.